Yo! Today I want to talk about the future of gaming. I'm writing a documentary right now with my good friend Paul, and we are arriving right now in our writing in Act 5, and Act 5 is the future. And so today we just got off the phone, off the Discord, and we spoke about the future of gaming. Also kind of the future of the purpose of gaming. And that's interesting. And so it's my job right now to rehash that a little bit. And I thought, why not record a video and share it with you? And then I'm going to write about it afterwards. So let's get into it. The core notion, the core thesis that we have in the purpose of gaming is the idea that gaming lets you embark on a hero's journey even though you have insufficient powers in real life. So while many of the hero's journeys that you could go on in real life are unavailable to you, you can go into a game and be a hero anywhere you want. The reason why I think, and these are huge topics, right? I'm not going to get into them in detail, but the reason why I think most kids love to game is because they're lacking ways of interfacing with the world well and successfully. And what does success mean? Well, it basically means that you get fed back a message of like, hey, you're good. So, if you play sports well, then you will get a feedback. Or two of my friends, actually Paul and my other friend Zebi, who are both musicians, and Paul's also a filmmaker. Paul told me, I was at this shoot, and it was the first time I directed like not a short film but a short scene, and I was both camera and director, and it went really well, and everybody told me, this is good and we can work with you well, and this works. And then Zebi was at the studio recording vocals for the first time, just as an artist, not as a producer, as a singer. And he told me the same story. He was like, well, everybody's telling me how good I sound and how good I'm doing it. And I'm like, yeah, you're good. And then he's like, yeah, but I only knew it, but I didn't feel it because I didn't have the feedback like that. So I'm like, yeah, that's fantastic. And so everybody, and especially artists, love this type of feedback, and especially kids, because every kid is an artist. And so you can think about yourself. How were you as a kid? And everybody loves, I think, as a kid, for example, you paint a picture and then somebody looks at it and really looks at it and is like, this is good. I love how you got the hands right this time compared to the last picture you gave me. And it's like, there's a feedback loop of improvement, this type of message. And it's like, does it ring a bell maybe? Yes, that's how games work. And that's why games are addicting, because they're telling you all the time, you're good. And then 2 minutes later, it's like, you're better. And then 3 minutes later, it's like, you're even better. And it's all the time and really fast. And I think that's really missing in today's society. Like, for example, if you grow up without a dad, you're missing this, I like to call it the benevolent taskmaster. Somebody who wants you to do something and wants you to succeed at something and sets up the game for you. He's like, well, we're going to build a little fence today. And then, look, this is how we will do it. Come with me. It's the tutorial. And then here you can, I will help you. And right now you only have to do this. Right? You don't have to, select the tools, and you don't have to do it from scratch. Here's a little task. Do that well. And then you do it. And then maybe you fail at it. And then you try 3 times and then you get it. And it's like, well done. You did it. I personally love like games where like Dead Cells or like what's it called, Towerfall Ascension, where you have to trial and error a lot. Dark Souls, not too much because it's too deep for me. Even though if I would really, probably a few years earlier, if I had more time, I would have loved it. But like these really singular 2D simple games that are still requiring a lot of engagement from you and like skill and, you know, controller simple, but you still gotta nail that. And quick thinking break. And yeah, so that's what games do well, and that's what a good father, I suppose, does. I didn't really have that, and so purpose of gaming, that's also in many ways my story, and trying to make sense of what I experienced and trying to share that. Okay, so we are missing kind of these benevolent taskmasters that help us tackle things one at a time and getting increasing rewards, so that the road to success, to, well, now you can show somebody else how to build a fence, or now you can play the guitar good enough so you can sit in a park and people will actually enjoy what you're tinkering with it. Or now you're a good enough communicator so people want to hire you and work with you. These final successes that we see in media and on YouTube and blah, 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 that these are attainable step by step. And for that, you need a benevolent taskmaster. And that can take many forms, but it's what we really, really, really need today. And, you know, shout out to any mothers who can be that. I think it's, well, in my experience, that's difficult. You know, that's not they have enough other tasks. Like this kind of creative, coming up with something to do, and then let's do that step by step. That's a difficult job. But so it seems to me like that's a very fatherly job. But anyway, so so now, you know, that's the whole purpose of gaming spiel. I want to get a little bit into the future of gaming, and to round out the thesis of the purpose of gaming. So what I just told you about, that's about how you want to embark on a hero's journey even though you lack the skills. But in a game, you can quickly become a swords master, a magician, and everything else. And of course, that is literally fantastic, right? That is a fantasy, and that's fantastic. And we love fantasy. Fantasy is just fantastic. What can I say? It's just great. There are so many things that ping your fantasy. I mean, who you could be, you know, as very sexual. Sex and fantasy really belong together in many ways. That's just what I'm thinking about right now, for whichever reason. And so that's great, right? But then, of course, my corresponding thesis is, well, games help you to be somebody while you are not somebody in the real world. And you know what I mean by somebody. It means somebody of stature and status and rank and power and agency, you know? And so the thesis continues that there is a point in time where you want to leave the gaming hero's journey and embark on your real hero's journey in real life. And, well, this for me, it has as a fundament the notion that ultimately what counts is real life. Ultimately, what happens that matters is, you know, let's say love, interacting with people, reproducing, creating something, making something of value, nurturing something, you know, all the, you know, I like to think in terms of trees, and, you know, a tree wants to grow. This is the primary, you know, and then it wants to have saplings, and then this is the primary notion of life, you know. So how do you live well? Well, you emulate well, you could say you emulate nature, but for me it's more like, well, you let nature happen through you. So if you want to feel like a tree or maybe a bird or whatever suits you best, you want to grow, and you want to nourish yourself, and then maybe you want to start nourishing others and make some alliances as a tree, maybe with some mushrooms or something, right? And then maybe have children and blah blah blah. So this is like kind of my general outlook on life, which I'm sure I will discuss more in other videos, but these are the basics. And so I as a writer in this documentary, I think, well, maybe I'm wrong, right? We will still document and find out, but it seems to me that that is the way. So, you know, people who are stuck in games, you don't want to be that, right? You want to have money in your bank account, and that's a sign of growth. And, well, not just sit alone in your bedroom and game. This is not a sustainable way. Okay, so how does the future of gaming play into this? Well, as you know, I worked at Twitch for a long time, and Twitch is like, oh man, that's a whole thing. But Twitch is in so many ways the stepping stone to the future of gaming, because Twitch enabled you to play any game and then be interesting enough while you do that, and then you will have real money in your bank account. And as simple as that sounds, that's a ridiculous proposition. And that's why so many people were non-believers in like, oh, sure, you know, you play video games for money, haha, right? And it's like, well, no, you know, some people are really good. Some people are just really funny and awesome people, and they can share that. So suddenly you can sit in your room all day, and without committing a grave sin, so to speak, you can, you know, well, well, you can make money in many ways, but it sucks if you're sinning very much while you do it. Like, well, many examples, I don't want to get into it too much, but you want to earn your money in a sustainable way, I would say. And as long as you know, stay healthy as a streamer, which is difficult, both physically and mentally, but if you do that, then you're winning, not sinning. And then you can actually build a serious life around it. And many streamers have done that. And of course, YouTubers as well, right? This belongs together. And so there you have this, right? The real world and the games. And there's almost no interface in the middle. And the interfaces in the middle were like far in between. The things that I can think about from the past are like, wow, you know, World of Warcraft. That was the thing where you heard for the first time, okay, this guy got a job because he told at Starbucks as a manager, because he said, well, I was a guild leader in WoW. And it's like, well, this is actually a transferable skill, right? So if you can lead 100 like alpha nerds to slay this boss / to win this raid, and then you can organize them so they don't, you know, fuck each other over the loot, that's a serious task to master. And boom, right? Of course you have management experience, and of course you get the job, sir. Congratulations. And the other thing that you heard from WoW are like marriages, that people met there and they, you know, went on journeys and adventures together, obviously, and then they were like, well, should we maybe, you know, meet in real life and see what's what? And so this is an interface between the gaming world and the real world. So that's fantastic. And then, you know, there were things like Second Life that were like explicit about it. And that, of course, didn't work. Because nobody wants to explicitly say, well, let me just go into my Second Life and meet some people there. That sucks. That's, you know, everybody knows that the virtual world is not the real world, and then you don't really want to, that's too on the nose. But then you have things like Twitch. things like Twitch. Well, then basically Twitch appeared, and even YouTube wasn't quite Twitch, because YouTube is not in real time, and YouTube is not, it's curated content. It's cut and curated and made for entertainment. And Twitch is direct and live and behavioral. And so you actually see real people, how they behave in a real way. And that's why streaming is so hard, because you got to deal with the trolls, because the trolls are there to test you, to see, well, can you actually behave? You know, trolls are part of the real world. They wait on bridges usually, and then they try to fuck with you. And that's why I would suggest to any streamer, like, you know, you should be happy that the trolls are there, because that means that you're doing something right and that people are testing you. And well, if you can't stand that, you won't get to the next level type of thing. You got to know how to beat a troll. Beat him, don't feed him. Okay, so so Twitch is real and is a real tangible area of interaction. And then, of course, you know, it's a real place. It's a thing like I think every business is basically a stack of interfaces, of well interacting interfaces to the outside world. And then what kind of interfaces does Twitch have? Well, it has advertisers. So people can bring money in. And then it has streamers. So people make content. Then you match content and money. Everybody gets money. Woo! You know, there's a flower and a bee. And then they spread. You know, it's nice. That's a natural working way. Okay, so here's a real thing where people exist in their normal way, sitting in their rooms playing, recording, showing themselves doing that, and making real friends along the way. And now it's not, and you know, making money on the way, so it's a sustainable enterprise. And now it's not just WoW, it's any game. And like, I'm not even sure if everybody knows how fucking huge this is. It's an interface for every game. That's what Twitch is. An interface for every game. Every game is now social. And it doesn't have to be coded into the game. It's just an overlay Twitch, an interface. Now it's social. And everybody can tune in. And everybody can write in the chat. It's another important interface. So that's just massive. And so I want to go one level deeper now. And one thing I talked about with Paul today is, and we've been talking about that a lot, so that will definitely come up it's a big topic for the documentary. It's GTA 5 role-playing. And so what's happening here? Well, now you have, and GTA roleplay only works because of Twitch, right? Otherwise it would be interesting, but not a spectacle. And GTA roleplay is a soap opera, and not just one, but infinite soap operas, depending on how many people want to build servers and invite people and build an ecosystem. But GTA roleplay is insane and fantastic, and there are streamers that only do that and that live in that world. And so here's an interface that meshes the gaming world and the real world. It's not clear which is which. And that's why the trolls are super strong in GTA. You know, I always read streamer Twitter, right? That's who I follow. And there are so many people who are like, well, people really can't differentiate between fucking GTA and real life. And it's like, yeah, that's because you make it very similar. That's your job as a role player, right? It's like, people can't differentiate between my role in a movie and my person in real life. It's like, yeah, you're an actor. It's like, that's the price you pay. That's what you do. Come on, dude. But that's good. That means you're doing something very important. It means you're meshing worlds. That's amazing, potent, powerful, dangerous. Many trolls. Don't feed them. Beat them. And, oh man, it's so funny. these complaints. It's I totally understand it. It totally sucks. Some people get trolled really hard and like bothered in real life in a way. That's also what every streamer says. It's like, why are people in front of my door? Well, it's like because you have a Twitch stream and that's basically an open door into the world all the time. Respect to everybody who can like protect their identity well enough to not let that happen. It's a difficult task. It's a price you pay. You're public, you're public. You can't, and then you can't expect idiots to act properly. They are idiots after all. Like anybody who's got something better to do won't come to your house unannounced, but idiots don't. Trolls don't. They're only on the bridge and are like, try to annoy you. Okay, so GTA roleplay is like a huge thing. There are people, you know, who are cab drivers and trash people. Well, I mean, like, you know, rubbish collectors is what you say, right? And trash people, and they're doing menial tasks 8 hours a day in the game. Like, aren't you doing that in real life to have a job, to like make money? And it's like, whatever these people are doing in their private life, I don't care. But it's amazing that through the spectacle that's going on, there's a good incentive to be statist. What's the English word for that? I'm gonna need to look that up. Statist, like a side actor, an extra. There's a good incentive, you know, just like in real acting. You get paid to be an extra. I don't know if you get paid in GTA, but at least you get paid in like game money. So you can interact and maybe you can get another job at something, you know. There's a whole life type hero journey going on, which I guess doesn't include childhood and growing up, but it does include, you know, job mobility and housing and cars and the usual adult life. And that's crazy. So, and so, you know, that's something that's going on. Okay, so that's another, between the gaming world and the real world, we have like, WoW, we take that out, but then we have Twitch, and it's like, Twitch is the ultimate window, right? It enabled everything, esports, gaming, everything. It's crazy. It's huge. It's going to be so much more huge if they scale well with the time, but they're already, I mean, Twitch is amazing. It's never going to go away. It's fantastic. And now there's like GTA. So you can really spend a whole day not just chatting in the chat, which is, to be fair, a pretty limited interface. But you can, you know, while your favorite streamer goes upon their like high level, high status play in the game, you can at least be in the same world and have the chance to run into them, right? And kind of roll with that. And then, you know, maybe you will get some airtime on the big channel, wherever the big streamer. So that's huge for people. I guess that's a good motivation. If you have the time to be a rubbish collector 8 hours a day on GTA, sure, that's fantastic. And then maybe you get a possibility to, well, you can just stream yourself. That doesn't cost anything if you have the hardware in real life. And then maybe you can, if your stream goes well, automatically there's interest in you as a person, and then you will automatically get a bigger role. So one begets the other. Or if you become the main streamer's bodyguard or whatever in-game, suddenly you should probably stream because people want to see through your eyes. And so that's like, do you see how that's like one tier, like more in detail compared to just regular Twitch streaming? Now you have this extra world, this extra layer, this complex GTA Online interface layer. That's amazing. And so I'm still trying to get to the future of gaming. This is a long ass thought apparently, but it seems to me that if we go back to the original, okay, you're a kid, maybe you're missing something. Maybe you have some disadvantage, whether that's physical, familial, temperamental, right? You just don't fit in. But games there's always one game out there that gives you what you need, right? That is that benevolent taskmaster for you. It seems to me that one of the global challenges of the world, the actual world we live in, is to match people with the right tasks. And you can match an 8-year-old with a proper task. You can also match an 18-year-old with a proper task. If you know their interests and their proclivities, and you give them the right scope of a task. You know, you can't let an 8-year-old start a company. In most cases, obviously, maybe there are outliers, because there's a lot of like stupid interfacing with like a state, like not a state, but the state that you're in, and all that. You know, obviously, paperwork. Let's say, no kid wants to understand. Why would they? Paperwork doesn't make sense. They're artists. Why would they? So that's more like a necessary evil, let's say. Not evil, but disturbance. Okay, but you can, but an 8-year-old can still be a CEO of something, right? He can be the CEO of his Minecraft server. If he has a bunch of 8-year-old or whatever friends, and he says, look, we're building this, build it like that. And then, you know, well, yeah, he saw it on YouTube, somebody else do it. Yeah, so what? Every founder sees somebody else on YouTube. That's why there are conferences, you know, that's old school YouTube. It's just like, what are you doing? Let me imitate that. That's just what it is. Okay, so you know, and then YouTube, right? There's free education everywhere. So what I'm trying to paint is this picture of, okay, through YouTube, everybody can be anything. You can learn plumbing, you can learn video editing, you can learn programming. Everything is a little bit of spit and dedication and time and YouTube away, basically. Everything. I don't know about horse riding. Maybe you want, that's a bit more of a complex thing to interface. But so gaming is also an extended arm of free education. It educates of how to fulfill a task within a limited rule set. It teaches you that maybe you want to have a limited rule set and all that. And so what if we just use games and certain incentives, like Twitch incentivizes attention, right? But you can also have other incentives, like just solving a problem. There's this guy called Balaji something, who's very popular right now. He's a futurist. He has a huge interview on Tim Ferriss and some other shows as well. And he has a new company, which is like 70. I don't know why this guy has a name and a company name that I can't remember, but it's like 1742 or something. It's findable. I can link it. And he wants to pay people for little tasks, and he wants to just match people with the right tasks. He says, well, there's like India, and he's what the name suggests, Indian, I believe. Well, he kind of like says, well, there are like actual billions of people, right, with phones and internet. Basically, everybody has that now, but they have nothing to do, right? They have no jobs, they get no money. But I can like just crowdsource tasks like that, like, and you can do research and everything like that, and menial tasks and little programming tasks. Can you program me this kind of thing? And then you're supposed to get money for it in crypto, in Bitcoin or Ethereum. And that's like amazing, right? That's what a game is. That's what a game is. You get a task within a limited scope. It's a task that you can easily fulfill based on your skill in the game, but in the beginning the task will be easy because you just start the game. And then you fulfill, you get a reward. Usually you don't get money. Through Twitch you start getting money. Maybe through Balaji's newsletter you start getting money. And so I think what we will see, through gaming a lot, because everybody likes to play. They're like it's a very innate thing for humans to play. For animals, like humans and animals have the same play circuits. Playing is very archaic. A game, I guess, humans are more adept at that. You know, you see dogs playing, the game often isn't clear. You see a dog play with a human, the game becomes clear. And game is like, the difference between play and game. Play is just like you run around, you do something that kind of excites you, gives you a good feeling. Like dancing freely is like more like play. Again, sexual activity is very playful. There's no clear game, right? Maybe, depending on what you're trying to do, but you're just there, and you're just kind of being, and you're just kind of rolling with it. I'm more playing than gaming. My conversation is playful, but yeah, I'm trying to get somewhere. So that's why you see me thinking, and then I'm like, how do we get to the point? I don't know how to get to the point. But yeah, so game is more like you have a playing field, and then you have rules, and that constitutes more of a game. But playing itself is super archaic. It's so old. We don't even know. Maybe we know. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, researcher type. But everybody likes to play. And what was I trying to say? I was trying to say that matching people with the right tasks is setting up people with the right things to play. It's tasks and playing, it's the same thing. You could say if your work is like hard and difficult and boring for you, then it doesn't have the right amount of play in it. And then you probably shouldn't do it because it's not the right task for you. For one person, like designing the Excel sheet is play and fun and awesome. And for the other person, it's just torture. I'm definitely in category 2 most of the time, unless I'm doing it for something, for a greater good for myself type of thing, then it's more easy. So what I'm trying to say is playing and, being busy, that's kind of the same thing. That's what you want. And so there's a kind of a global task to match people with the correct tasks. And that has everything to do with playing. And if I think, and then it's about leaving the gaming hero's journey, where you're only a hero in the game, into, okay, now you're becoming something in real life. And again, I started this conversation with it in the beginning. How do you realize that it's not just in the game, but it's in real life? Well, you get recognition, you get resonance, from yourself. You get the feeling that, oh, you're doing something that's really good for yourself. And then people will start telling you. That's how we work as humans. So what comes to mind for me is people like, projects like, there were these guys, they built huge movie sets in Minecraft. So for example, they built the Mines of Moria with like functioning mine carts and proper mapping, proper proportions, and it was like huge. It was fucking massive. I don't know. It was like on Reddit years ago, 10 years ago or something. But they built the Mines of Moria from Lord of the Rings in Minecraft. And so, that's a ridiculous thing to do. Why do you do that? Well, because you have this impulse, because it begins at just you. You want to do that. I want to do that. This kid who started that wanted to do that. Wouldn't it be cool if, yes, let's go, right? And then there's a whole team of people building that. And that's already, that's work. You have to coordinate. You have to figure shit out. Who checks the proportions? Who checks the colors, everything, what are the rules? You set up a whole game for yourself. But then you get like 20,000 likes on Reddit, upvotes. And that's like overwhelming response. And now you can do anything. Now, if you want to get a job as a, let's say a design lead, you can say, well, yeah, I made this and I managed 100 people while I did it. And that's a reference, if nothing else. So suddenly you've found the right avenues in a game to move into real life. For me personally, in working at Twitch was like a game for me. It was close to gaming itself. It was, I wanted to have something to do with gaming. And the particular task scope that I was being put into was just right for me. It was about connecting with people and making friends and, inviting people to the platform. And I happened to be really good at that. And for me, I remember the first days and weeks at Twitch, my real life was difficult because I was kind of stuck in London in weird flats and not sure where to go. But in the office, I was living, I was doing the right job and I got paid. And I got to know real people and so on. So that's a real thing. And so that's where you jump from hero's journey only in the game into like, okay, now we're in real life. And I think the future of gaming is a lot about that. It's a lot about things that interface in the real world. Right now, only top streamers and top esports performers and then workers of various sorts make money through playing the game itself, let's say. Gaming industry is obviously huge. Many people, already, right? The industry is huge, blah, blah. But if we talk about playing the game, how do we move from there? And playing the game and making money, that's possible through Twitch, basically on all levels. There's no threshold. Anybody can basically be an affiliate, and then you start making money with a sub button. So that's already kind of possible, but we will see much more, I think, in the future of gaming. We will have many in-game rubbish collectors, as a metaphor. People who just do some task in a game. And I think that really relates to crypto, but I don't understand crypto that well. I don't know. But it seems to me that's, like I explained, this newsletter by Balaji is like this little thing. You can fulfill a task. You get like 0.00 Bitcoin or something, which is like $100 or something. And that's $100 in your pocket, right? In your wallet. You can buy food from that. And again, that's what counts. You want to grow. You want to build your life. That's what it's about. You want to get recognition and good feelings. And we will see what Twitch is, the central thing that kind of really pollinates the gaming community so fantastically. We will see many interfaces in between, many GTA Onlines on crack, where you can where GTA Online roleplay is a joke against, where you can really interact in this gaming world and it really has a real life impact. And people can fill their bank accounts and people can, start families and propagate, and through games, through just playing video games. That seems to be the future of gaming in a broad sense. And I have no clue. This is, something from today. I really wanted to record this video. It's way longer than I thought it would be. But it's a long ass thought starting kind of from the beginning. If you watch this, I'm very curious what you think. I would love to hear from you in the comments, or on my Discord or something. It's like, it's the first time I speak about this openly right now, just in my microphone, but hopefully I will have the fortitude to release it on YouTube. And of course, if you see this, it's here. So, please let me know if this interests you. We are writing on this documentary. We will produce it. I'm very excited for it. Paul as well. And there's a lot to research there. So if you're somebody who knows more about this and wants to talk to me, please reach out to me. There's plenty of social media. DMs are open. Find me. And otherwise, let me know what you think. And if you just enjoyed the line of thought, little like, little subscribe, I would be very happy to keep this conversation up. And maybe we can shape the future of gaming in some ways together. So that's me. Thank you very much. Done.